Okay, cool. All righty. So for those of you, which basically it's only one of you new to me, Natasha, I'm right. Let me turn my camera on. You didn't even see me. Turn my camera on. Where is camera? Turn on. There we go. Come on. Okay. All righty. Hey, I'm Rodney Washington, and nice to meet you, Natasha. So, yeah, I wanted to share with you. This kind of came to me real impromptu to do. Um, for most of you who've been following the post, I created my first GPT. The GPT was inspired by Amy Porterfield, who teaches people how to create courses, and she did a GPT on how to find an idea for a course. And the minute I saw that, I thought this would be a cool thing to do for helping people find a book idea. Because I've always had the audio course validate your book idea. I've always had that course. I've had that up since I began everything that I'm doing now. But things have changed, technology's changed, people don't have as much time as they used to. The audio course isn't long. It's about an hour, maybe 15, 20 minutes if you go through all the steps. But anyway, I thought the GPT would be kind of a fun thing to do. So I quickly like jumped on it, didn't know really what I was doing, but figured it out and started playing with it and really honestly was just playing with it. I really didn't plan on doing anything more than just experimenting with it, testing it out with some of my group members and so forth in my society program, just to make sure that it worked okay. And then started, talking about it more publicly. And in the test that I did, I was like, this sounds really interesting. I thought, I'm actually going to develop this. So, what I'm showing you today is what I'm developing. And this is not me so much teaching anything in particular, although I'll be sharing some things I'm doing. But I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One is to get feedback on what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get some ideas. The other thing is if you model what I'm doing with your own book projects, even the fact that you're here with me today, if you model what I'm doing, it's actually a great way to introduce your projects as you're developing them. Because one of the things I'm a big proponent of is starting to get the word out about your projects as you're creating them, not waiting until the project is finished and published or wherever you're going to do with it, and then start talking about it to people, whether it's, on your social media or it's available on Amazon or whatever. You should start talking about it as you're developing it. So that way you're building up interest and audience so that when it does go live and it's available potentially for purchase, it's not coming out of left field. So over the next, probably I'd say the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing these lives again. But I basically what I'm showing you today or what I'm sharing with you today is a little bit of introduction to the GPT, but what I've done with the information that it's given me. And then I'm going to talk about how I'm really kind of taking this as I'm going with it. So the ideas are kind of coming to me as I'm developing it. So anyway, again, this is something to, again, get feedback about the project I'm working on, but then also something that you potentially may be able to model in your own project. So anyway, let's hop right into it. And I'm sorry about the extra noise in the background. My computer, I guess, is getting warm, so the fan is going. I tried to close tabs, but doesn't seem to be working. So anyway, I apologize for that. Maybe it'll calm itself down in a minute. Let's see here. Let me go over to the GPT and I'll start with that first. And if anyone, I mean, and I'm again, this is all about just feedback and everything. So I'm, look forward to hearing what you have to say. Let me find the page for the GPT. And here we go. All righty. So this is the landing page that I made for this project. So if any of you have seen it or not seen it, this is the landing page that I created. The initial one that Amy did, she had hers run inside of her website, so it wasn't a two-step process like mine was. I think that involved a programmer, which I didn't have the time to figure out how to do all that, although I tried. So what I did was I did what I knew how to do. which I know how to make landing pages. I know how to create, video and things like that. So I made a landing page. And basically what I did was I made it really simple because I modeled what I saw she did that I thought was kind of cool. So I said, okay, write a one sentence description about something that is of interest to you, something, it be a passionate hobby, a skill and interest, but something that you could, talk about. So what I did was I wrote out, and this is totally fictional. I've not been to Paris. I don't know much about it, but it's a totally fictional idea. But I wrote it out and I said, I'm passionate about Paris. I love talking about it, traveling there, telling others how to get more pleasure and enjoyment out of their experience of the City of Lights. I'm also a passionate home baker. On my trips, I frequently sign up for pastry and bread making classes and visit all the best patisseries in Paris. I want my book to inspire users to embrace their creativity and sense of adventure. So that's the one, or maybe two sentence script I wrote. It doesn't have to be as elaborate as mine, but I wanted to try to give it as much information as possible. Put in my email address, and then you get directed to the GPT. So why I did it that way is because I want to be able to reach out to people who are interested in developing a book idea. So that's why I put the lead magnet opt-in page in front of it. I could do it another way, which I could just send people directly to the GPT and then have them opt in on the back end. And I'll show you the call to action that the GPT allowed. But anyway, that's the way I tried. Everything's a test. So I tried it that way. So I put it in there. I just copied and pasted. I took what I wrote out here. Okay. And all I did was just copy and paste it here into the GPT. Now, when you first go to it, when you first see it, it will display like this. When you first look at it, this is how it'll display. So then you'll paste in your sentence there, and then it'll start working. Okay. So then I'm going to show you what it came up for me. So it came back, and I've since asked it a lot more things. But anyway, let me go to the top here. So it said, it sounds like you have a rich passion for Paris and baking, which could translate to a wonderfully unique coloring book or planner. Here are some ideas to inspire you. And the first one was the Parisian Pastry Adventure. Talked about, it could have coloring pages and what those could look like, a baker's guide to Paris, and some information there about cooking classes, a creative culinary journey, and some different things, recipes and that kind of thing. So basically gave me some ideas, and I basically decided to combine the three. Instead of doing three separate books, I would do one that would feature coloring pages. It would feature like journal pages where they could track, the person could track their like classes that they're signing up for, pastry shops that they went to, just the things that they would do on a culinary tour of France or Paris in this case. I have some other ideas I want to throw out there to get your opinions about as well. So that was basically it. Then it gave me layout and content ideas. So it said it could be coloring pages, recipe pages, travel tips, adventure prompts, told me who my target audience could be, which was really valuable. Also gave me an idea for a cover design. So this is all the things that the GPT came back with on its own. And then what I did, I then took, now there's a whole lot more down here, but these are additional questions I kept asking. But basically, when you first do it, this is basically the framework it'll give you. Okay. Then what I did was then I went into, so the first thing I did was this. I took the actual sentence here. Imagine a cover featuring a cozy Parisian cafe with Eiffel Tower in the background. The cafe's window could display an array of colorful pastries, and the scene is framed by a classic Parisian architecture. The title could be in a playful, elegant script with accents like rolling pins, whisk, and croissants, and what have you. So I literally took this whole thing as a prompt and I put it into Midjourney. And this is what it came back with, which is the cover. Now, the original, it gave me several, but this was the one I liked the most because it was the most eye-catching. The point I want to make here is that I always go for my posts because I'm thinking about this not from the book cover perspective entirely. I'm looking at it also as I'm going to be potentially promoting this book on social media, and I need this image to stand out. I needed to stop the news. I needed to stop the scroll of the news feed. So my eye immediately goes to red because red is subconsciously, it signifies alert, something I need to pay attention to. Now, I know these are more pinkish reds, but out of all the images that it gave me, this was the one that I liked the most. And it summed up everything that GPT came back with in terms of what I felt the cover could look like. The only thing that it did initially in the initial design was it had, for some odd reason, it had some of the pastries on the floor. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. So fortunately, gratefully, Lakeisha helped me sort out how to work with the new version of Midjourney, and I was able to clean the floor up. So I got the food off the floor. But anyway, so that's kind of how the cover came up with. The reason why I liked this process and what I got out of it is when you're trying to figure out an idea for a book that you want to pursue or put time into, whether it be a coloring book, planner journal, or written book, whatever you want to do, we have to get inspired to put the time and the effort and the energy in to actually put the project together. So I like having a cover design actually really early on in my ideation process because I need to know why I'm putting in all this time. And so it's great to have again, I like the GPT for ideation, not for actually creating the book. I didn't use GPT to create the book. I wanted to get an idea that I could get behind. And then, like I said, I did the cover design, and then that in the cover actually in itself, to truth be told, when I saw this image, I had I'm doing it strictly for demonstration purpose. I didn't have any plan on making a book. And when I saw this, I went, you know what? I actually think I want to make this book. So what I'm saying is that from what I'm sharing with you is let it inspire you. Like go into, if you use any of the tools like Midjourney, something like that, let it help you with ideation so that it can give you that extra push you need to really go for it and actually do it. And what I like about this is I could make this a screensaver for my desktop. I could put this as screensaver on my phone. I could print it out and hang it up above my desk. So it's constantly reminding me to stick with my book project and get it done. So again, I didn't plan on making a book. I just got inspired by the artwork, and then that motivated me further. As far as the typography on the front, I use an app called Word Swag because with Canva you can't use their fonts and all that action, so I didn't want to deal with any of that. So I used an app called Word Swag, and I actually wrote out the title Parisian Pastry Adventure, and this is actually exactly how he gave it to me, with one style of the font different than the other. I exported that out of Word Swag, and I put it on my computer, uploaded it to Canva, and then imported that graphic. So I actually laid the typography on top of the image in Canva. I assembled it in Canva, but none of this is Canva's fonts on the cover. So for those of you who know or don't know, when you're going to publish to Amazon, you can't use any of Canva's elements because that's against their terms of service. So anyway, so once I had, again, what I felt was a cover that I could get behind, I moved forward with it. Now, if I was, well, I knew what I was going to do, so I didn't want to do that. But what I would probably recommend doing is make up 3 or 4 or 5 different designs and then post them as a post on your social media and assign a letter to each design and ask people to vote on which design they like the most. Unless you know for certain this is the one you want to use, like I did, I didn't do that. But I'm saying in terms of pre-marketing your book as you're creating it, I would have done maybe 4 or 5 different designs and then uploaded those and then let people vote on them. That way I'm building up an interest audience. And then for the back of the book, I just extended the cover over to the back. And then I had ChatGPT write me. Now, keep in mind, when I asked it to do this, I've been feeding it information. We've been having a conversation back and forth about this book project. So at this point, I know it understands what this book is about, who it's for, and how I want to talk about it. So I literally asked it to write me the back cover copy. And I read through it, and it's exactly what I like. So I'm using that for the back cover. Simple design, just carrying, because the artwork is so complex. I didn't want to do anything to compete with that. So I just did a black box overlay, changed the opacity so you can see some of the cover bleed through, and then I just laid the type on top and made it, made it white. Now, one of the things that I'm going to ask you all about in a minute, because I want to get your opinion, I I'm leaning towards making this book an 8.5 by 8.5, as opposed to 8.5 by 11. For some reason, I'm just drawn to that, but I don't know. I would love to get feedback about it, because um, it's going to have coloring pages. It's going to have prompt pages. There's some other things I'm thinking about doing, but for some reason, I'm feeling like I want it to be square as opposed to 8.5 by 11. Does anybody have any opinion about that? It's why I'm doing this call. I want to get feedback about it. So
Rodney, did you say you were planning to have it printed or it was going to be digital?
I'm going to have it printed.
Oh, I think
Mhm.
8 by 8 is cool. A square is cool. I've got a coloring book that's a square.
Yeah, yeah. I like the square, and that's I don't know. Like I said, it's a little different. I've never done a square book before, but I just thought I like the idea of it. I think it's gonna be a little bit different and unique. Anyone else have any thoughts about it being square or 8.5 by 11? If not, that's okay. I just wanted to
I think it looks good. Well,
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Jeanette liked the square. I would like the pastry centered. Yeah, it is a little off. I'll probably have to, because since this came out of the can, quote unquote, like that, I'll need to break up the image manually and probably in Photoshop and then move it around, because it is over further than it needs to be. You're 100% right, Jeanette. Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. I'm going to, and like I say, feel free to unmute yourself. Um, I like the idea of creating an image and seeing where it takes you. Yeah, yeah, it was a fun exercise. So now I'm going to show you the inside of the book and what I've done so far. I shared a flip book version of it the other day. So this is what I came up with in terms of and again, I created pretty much all of the artwork in Midjourney. So the first thing I knew I wanted to do is I wanted to be heavy on accents and things that were reminiscent of the subject matter. And I was also big on sort of layering. So one of the coloring pages here in the background, the two ladies having pastry in Paris, I used it in the background. So it gave a little more depth to it. And then mixing out the black and the white with the color, still staying with the same font style. And then what I did was I just started using, so what I did, let me show you this actually on the back end. I had it make a bunch of accents that I wanted to disperse throughout the book that I actually thought would be cool to do as stickers. Now, this is one of the areas that I want to get feedback about. These would just be literally printed in the book just as pages, but I'm labeling them stickers, although technically they really are not adhesive, glue back or whatever. The thought I had is that people could take the page out of the book and then cut them out, and then I don't know, there was an afterthought. This wasn't intentional to put that in there, because I initially designed these to be used as accents for the journal pages. But I thought about it and I said, well, when people sell digital stickers, you have to print those, because you're selling the digital file and they have to print it. And then, like, I've seen people selling digital stickers on Etsy. So I thought, well, if I was gonna sell them as stickers only, quote unquote, digital stickers that you downloaded from Etsy and you'd have to print them, you'd have to cut them out anyway. And then, so I thought, well, why not just put them in the book? And then that way, because I'm going to print the book in color. And I thought, why just put them in the book and then they can just, take the pages out the book and so the back of each page would be blank so that obviously they don't cut over what they've already done. So that was anyway, initially they were designed just to be accents for the pages, but then I thought, why not just give them all the designs? Um, so anyway, I'd be curious to get any opinions about that.
I have a question.
Yes.
What if you were to package it in a bundle like you teach us as either stickers or as downloadable collage, material for your book?
So sell them separately instead of putting them in the book?
Not sell them separately, but make them part of a package deal. It's like
Gotcha.
to add value, like
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
a bundle,
Mm-hmm.
part
Mm-hmm.
of a
Mm-hmm.
product bundle.
Yeah,
And
I did.
maybe you could work with Vermonte or whoever to actually make them into stickers. Excuse me, that would,
Right.
make them that much easier for people to use them in the book.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that and I said, again, this is another reason why this part here is what inspired me to do this call because I was trying to make the decisions based on what I know or my assumptions or what have you, but I know some of you have more experience, perhaps some more exposure to some of the things like the sticker. I know that people sell quote unquote digital stickers all the time. And so again, my thinking was, well, instead of having them as separate PDF document they have to download, just put them in the book directly. Um, and yeah, and that, so there's a couple different ways. Another thing now, what I would love to do, but that's going to totally change the price point and everything, is to have them set up as actual stickers. They couldn't be printed in the book, unfortunately. They'd have to be sold separately. Um, and have them, where they physically can just peel them off of a sheet and put them onto things. But I don't know. Does anyone else have any or anyone? Thank you, Estella, for that feedback. Anyone else have any feedback or opinion about the whole sticker situation? Would it be a value add? Would it be a distraction? And feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like. Because you said I like that idea. Paper is my jam. You mean paper? You mean have it separately, having it already printed in the book, or having it where they can download it PDF separately? Of course, my idea would be to have them, already made up, but I'd just be curious.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't hear me.
Yeah.
So since it's a physical book, I'm thinking of physical stickers. My question is, I may have missed it. Are you doing the books through Amazon?
I'm going to test it through Amazon and Lulu.
Okay, because through
Mhm.
Amazon, how would you have their information to send them the stickers after the fact? You know what I'm saying? Or would they have to reach out to you to get the stickers?
At this point, knowing me, the way I'm going to think about it is I'm going to send them through. Well, I know if it goes well on Amazon, the book could be found organically. So I would have to put something in the book, very prominently in the book, to let them know that the downloadable iterations are available with the QR code. Then they can go to that landing page, put in their information, they would get access to them that way.
Okay, so then that means they would be responsible for
For print.
printing the stickers themselves.
Yep. Yeah, they'd be responsible for printing it themselves. Now, with digital stickers that are sold on Etsy, I mean, well, I'm assuming they're not that's how they're doing it anyway, right?
S-
Selling the PDF and then they,
So it depends on what you're going to use the stickers for. So if it's like a digital planner, then the stickers live inside of the document and you can, manipulate them in there. Now, I mean, there are some people that print stickers off and stick them. Um, I guess it's going to depend on your customer.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I may take them out. I may take them out. If I'm, as I was gonna say, I'm just trying to, it had come to me about the sticker because again, I've never bought digital stickers. I never, printed them. I know digitally, um, and I could offer a digital iteration of this too. That really wasn't the plan. I initially thought this was going to be a physical book, but I could offer a digital iteration of it as well, a PDF iteration of it as well, and then have these as separate individual, files that they can just import, and put them where they want. So that may be the way I go with it.
Or,
Um, mhm,
or if you did it through Lulu, you could still send them the physical stickers, whether,
mhm, mhm,
just depending on how you want to do them. If you
yeah,
had a machine, you could print them and send them, or
yeah.
then or you would have to employ a service.
Yeah, knowing me, I'm going to employ a service to do it, and then that comes into the price point. What would they be to to do them? So
Right.
the sticker part is still up in the air. I love the idea of them. If for nothing else, that may be a separate offer once I can figure out the infrastructure for that. But for now, I would just use them as I have them now as accents for the pages in and of itself.
I would
Um,
just add to that, in terms of sticker, digital download and all that, there is a market of people who have a Cameo or a Cricut, they have a cutting, a brother scan and cut. As long as the file is available and it's compatible with those machines, people can cut their own. And so those would probably be a separate, it may or may not be people who are already customers of the book. It just
right.
might be people who like Parisian food stickers.
Got you. Got you. That's a good point. I keep forgetting about that too. That's a whole other market. So if that was the case, then I would need to set up the file. Well, because the thing that I also asked the GPT was to give me bundle ideas. And so one of the things that I could do is I could take the stickers out, at least as far as these pages go, quote unquote, and then set them up separately and make it a bundle item. Um, and then like I said, for those people who are, doing some of the more tools, like you said, the quick cut and those kind of things, and they could do that. So, and just like I said, make it a value add. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'm gonna probably do the proof copies from Amazon and Lulu just to see what the color looks like, because I've never printed color all the way through with either of those platforms. So I'd be curious to see what the color looks like. So I'll do this again when I get the physical copies back, and then I can compare and show you what the color resolution, that kind of thing looks like. Because again, I've never printed with color. Based on the pricing of the book, with Amazon and with Lulu, it's going to run in the $6 range to do the book, not including the shipping with either one. Of course, the shipping with Lulu will be probably more. The shipping US is like around $5.69, so the book would be almost $12. With Amazon, the book would be around 6 for printing, based on the numbers. And then the shipping would be, of course, dependent upon if the person has Prime. So they have Prime, it wouldn't be quote unquote additional shipping. If they don't, it's probably going to be around 3 something for shipping. Um, so that's going to impact what the final price of the book will be, depending upon which one, I go with. But I'm going to test it with both because I want to see what the quality of the paper and I want to see what the quality of the color and everything is. Um, I'm going to blow the pages up, Christine. So it's it's what I'm calling a hybrid. So there are, let me go through the book itself. So here's the introduction. And then I'm just kind of go through some of the key point pages that I put in there. So it's coloring and like I don't want to call it a planner. It's not really a planner, but it's I kind of took again what the GPT gave me for ideas of what it could be. I've got to go through and play with the font sizes and things like that. But anyway, so I came up with tips to maximize the pastry hopping experience. Came up with that again. I put in, now this was something that came to me because I thought about it. I said, well, people who typically are foodies take pictures of their food. And I come from a photography background and I used to photograph food. So I thought this would be a useful feature to add in there is photography tips. So I put that in there. So it's about 3 pages of that, 4 pages of that. Then I thought, well, people who also, are into the whole experiential thing, and I've seen a lot of people doing travel journals where they actually sketch where they are. So I thought I'd put sketching tips in there. So I put those in there. And then they would obviously, now I initially thought about putting pages, blank pages in the book that they could sketch inside the book. That's another idea that I had. Or they could have a separate sketchbook. If they used a wet medium, they couldn't do that inside the book they would get from either Amazon or Lulu because the paper would be too thin. But I thought that that would be kind of a cool feature, to have, because the paper weight's going to be about 60 pounds, which is going to be a little too thin for wet medium, but they could, pencil sketch if they wanted to. So I put those in. Then I looked up what I felt was the best pastry shops in Paris. And so I just pulled out about 10 of them. I haven't visited them, so I can't write about them, but I just did reviews on what was the best of the best in the city right now. And so I just put in the name of the shop and I put a QR code there that went to the shop's website. That's all I did on that one. So I pulled those ideas and what they're known for. So this was all online Google research on these. Um, then I moved into pastry classes. So which were some of the best schools? Same idea. I've not been to them. I'm just showing what's possible. Again, I just basically copied from the website, had it rewritten, so that it wasn't a straight copy and paste from the website, and then just had the QR codes in there to go to those classes. Then these are the coloring pages that I started working on in Midjourney. So far right now I have about 8 pages. I'm going to add some more in there because I don't want it to be a straight coloring book. So I'll probably add about 10 pages in there. So I put a blank page in between each one, so that people could, if it bled through, it wouldn't, bleed through to the other coloring page. Um, of course, all these were made in Midjourney. And then let's see here. I did this one I really liked a lot. It's a little more grayscale than I like, but now one option I could go with this if I wanted to. I do have contacts that I could hire someone to resketch these for me, and have them as straight line drawings with no grayscale at all. But for some reason with this book, I kind of like the grayscale about it to me. When I looked at it, sometimes straight coloring pages can look almost like kiddish, like for a kid kind of thing. And I like the more sophisticated design, a little bit of this, a little bit more. I'm still working on these, but I'm going to do more iterations of them. These are just the mock-ups I got for now. This one was full color, and I just basically went into Canva and just took the color out. And I actually like it, but I'm working up a bunch more designs before I finalize the final design. So I wanted to get enough together to kind of conceptualize what could this book look like, and that's what this is what I have here now. Okay. Then I added daily itinerary pages. Real simple. Just I put 7 in there because a person what I figured would be there for a week. So these are just duplicates of that page. So I have daily itinerary pages. I have class pages. So what school did you sign up for? The focus of study, the item prepared, any notes. So I've got about 5 of those pages in there. Then I put recipe pages in there. So what's the dish, preparation notes? I've got about 5 of those in there. Then I did a shopping list pages, name of dish, ingredients. I did about 5 of those pages. And then extra pastry shops, the name of the shop, the address, items tried, thoughts and notes. I put about 5 of those there. Then musing. So like if you're just, in a coffee shop, you're just kind of coming up with things and just kind of journaling about it. So I put about 5 of those pages there too. And then the stickers at the back. So that's kind of what I have right now. The other thing that I came up with was I created, this was inspired by one of my students, Kim Sarsons. She did a playlist on Spotify. So I created a Parisian Pastry Adventure playlist of songs, French inspired songs someone could listen to while they are journaling and or cooking and or coloring in the book. And on the pages in the book where I talk about muses, if you just go down to the bottom of the page, there's a QR code that takes you over to the playlist on Spotify. So I'm put that in there. So I'm still, like I said, I'm still conceptualizing. I'm still kind of, figuring out what's going to go in there, what I'm going to take out of it. But that's kind of what I have so far. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to kind of, I also wanted to, hopefully inspire you all, if you're thinking about putting together something, it doesn't have to be one thing. It doesn't have to be just a coloring book. It doesn't have to be just a planner. It could be around a specific subject or theme. It can be around a specific audience. Like this here, I wouldn't market this to straight up people who just like to color. I would really market this to people who are interested specifically in this subject matter. They love to cook, more specifically, they love to bake, they love to travel, they love art, and the idea of fusing those things together and having experiences. So again, taking what the GPT gave me, I tried to take this information here that it gave me initially, all of this that it gave me from the theme ideas all the way down to target audience and design, and then basically conceptualize it visually. One of the things that I did think about doing is aligning myself with someone who is a pastry that teaches classes either on Skillshare or Udemy or someplace else who does know how the art of making French pastry, and seeing if there's a collaboration opportunity there where I could promote, we could bundle their workshop with my book. I also could look at travel related groups around France, more specifically around baking. Um, so again, this is also about different target audiences as opposed to just going for people who just want to buy a book for book's sake. But what's the opportunities to position this with what would be the non-conventional book publishing or book audiences, but people who are interested in the subject of the book. Um, so I'm looking for those cross-promotional opportunities and collaboration opportunities to get the book out there in unique ways and bundle it in unique ways. So again, that's the reason why I want to get the mock-up done and I want to get the first drafts done, because then I can reach out to people that I might want to collab with and show them the book. I'm not just looking at it just being on Amazon to sell organically. I'm looking to get other opportunities with other people, people who sell packages to France, travel in Paris, for example. I could send the book to them. So I'm looking at travel consultants. I'm looking at people who are in the pastry and baking game who do classes and things and workshops. I maybe even send the book to those schools or to those restaurants and see, you never know where the opportunity could lie. But again, this is a part of the whole experience of it is how can you make it more, how can you position the book in a way where it's not just, it starts and stops at Amazon and goes no further than that? How can you collaborate with other people who may want to position the book as a part of their value add to what they already do? So anyway, get tourist. This was a great way to activity book for foodies, travels, etc. Exactly. So anyway, that's basically what I had. Well, like I said, I'd love to get, just everything I've shared, thoughts, input, ideas. What could, what could I do to improve it? What do you see that what could be changed or whatever? Just, just general idea. I'll keep you all in the loop as I keep what I call it, producing the project, including pricing and all that stuff. Jen, it's a great gift. I could even see it be as a gift to give. Example, someone buying a trip to Paris for Christmas, they could put the tickets. Exactly. And I'll tell you what inspired it too. That was a great point, Jeanette. Actually, someone in the group, in the club group, actually is a travel consultant. And he contacted me when I was in Vietnam last year, wanting to create a coloring book that would go along with the theme of the cruise packages he was selling. And it never came together. But when he introduced the idea to me, I liked that. And I thought, this could be something, again, that people who people who are doing like I said, I could totally send this out to travel consultants, especially people who specialize in Paris, people who are bloggers, who travel bloggers, who talk about Paris more specifically around this genre. I worked in the restaurant game for many years, and people who are pastry chefs who bake are hardcore. They're really passionate about baking. Actually one of my roommates years ago was a pastry chef, so I know from firsthand experience they're very passionate about what they do. So I don't know. Again, this was not anything I said, I'm gonna make a book about this one day. The GPT gave me the idea and I just ran with it. So anyway, any other thoughts, opinions, feedback, ideas, suggestions, how you can apply it to yourself and what you're working on? Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. Oh, so while I was going to show you all this too. So what I've been doing is I've been working on now making mock-ups for promotional, because I'm actually going to pursue this. And of course, I'm going to do my usual thing. I'm going to build a landing page. I'm going to build an email list. I'm actually going to test some ads and start kind of create a bit of an email list around this. And I started working on graphics for mock-ups for the ads and for the social media posts. So these were the three I worked on today. This template set in here, you all who are society members have access to this template set. So what I did was I started working on making some mock-ups for promotional posts and things like that. So these were the three I played with today. I just changed the color on the back of one of these, and then I did this layout, which I thought was kind of fun. It's busy, but I thought this was kind of fun. And there's a whole bunch. If you look at this, all of these templates are available to you all who are in my society program. So I'm going to just play with these different ones and keep making different mock-ups that I'll use for ads and things like that. And then these are some other ones I made. So again, I just pulled a lot of the graphics that I created in Midjourney and just kind of layered them in. Let's see, it's not loading everything. Let's try it again. If I can get it to display from a grid view. There we go. Okay. So yeah, so I just kept playing with different graphics I could rotate out again because I'm trying to build up interest in this as I'm creating it. So I just started using all the artwork that I got. And I just kept building out more and more graphics so I could keep rotating. Because another thing I noticed too is that things start getting stale, meaning people may have been hyped about it in the beginning when they saw it, and then they go numb to it. So changing out your graphics on a regular basis is a great way to keep people's eyes engaged, and them wanting to, learn more. So I will do these as a series of posts, always leading them to go get on my email list. So see, these are the ones I play with. And again, I love what Midjourney came up with. I'm really very impressed with them. These were basically the same design. I just kind of changed out one accent piece and then played with different backgrounds. So like I said, I've got about 40 images here. I'll just keep adding more and just changing them out. And yeah, and like I said, just see how it does with helping with growing the email list, because that part now is what I want to focus on with this. Um, and yeah, and put it out there. So anyway, so these are the designs I came up with. Any thoughts about any of these or any opinions? Or
They're all beautiful, Rodney. They're very, I just enticing. I mean, I look at that, I would buy that book. They're just, I just love how the idea that you took one image and all this sort of just snowballs, and the images are beautiful.
I was really happy with what Midjourney did. I was very impressed with it,
Yeah.
and I'll say this too, for some people who maybe don't like the old AI and they want to, have it, they want to do it more organically, like they want to draw themselves, whatever. I'm not pushing an AI agenda here. Um, I'm just speaking about this in general, but I do feel very strongly that AI is a wonderful resource for ideation. And so even if I didn't want to use these images directly out of the can, so to speak, I could then imagine if you're going to hire a designer. Oh, I have another thing. I'm so glad I wanted to ask you all about before I get there. Let me finish my point on this. A lot of times people who are non-artists, who consider themselves non-artisans, has a hard time communicating with an artist what they want or what is in their head. And what I love about the whole AI experience is that this empowers non-artisans to be able to ideate what they want, to communicate what they want to someone that could help them. So if someone wanted to say, well, I don't like the whole AI thing, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. It's like, but I think to get the initial designs out of your head, and I'll take it a step further than this. I would rather put these out the way I've got them, start driving interest to what I'm doing, seeing if people who really probably wouldn't even care about the whole AI thing, and start doing what I want this project to do, which is to create interest, an email list of a product or products that I could eventually sell. That's what I want. And I'm saying, why go through a lot of stuff and waste a bunch of time for something that's not going to work? If I can get this idea from that GPT into something visual that I can start sharing and seeing if the right people raise their hand and say, I want this, I can then figure out the logistics of it later. But in the beginning, when I'm just trying to find out, is this dog gonna hunt? Does someone want this? And when I put this together, like I said, I didn't plan on making a book. I really didn't. I was just testing the GPT, but when I saw what it did, it inspired me to want to do it. So now I want to see that book in my hands now. And so again, you know, when you're putting something out there, what it does now is it empowers me to be able to send that to other people who I may want to collab with and see what opportunities we can come up with together. So I'm sharing it all with you to say is don't limit your thinking about it's only for people who are hardcore colorists who only want to buy a coloring book or only want to buy a planner or a journal, but think more broad. And how can you get the first ideation draft to them that they can get excited behind? Because think about the mock-ups that you get. Let's say you use Amazon for an example. You can buy now, you know, the first draft that you get from Amazon is going to have that what you call it. It's going to have that bar across the front of the cover that's going to say it's a proof. But you could send those proofs to other people who you may want to collab with without the book actually being active on Amazon. You can put it in that system, order your mock-up or your proof, have it sent for you to check it. Then if you want to set up arrangements with other potential collaboration partners, then you can send that book, that same proof to them. And then see what kind of deals you can put together. And then if you decide to go ahead on and make the book live on Amazon, if that's what you choose to do, then you can do that. Okay. So that's anyway, that's another thing that, you know, made me think about, you know, how to put this together. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, and you made me think about it, Christine, because your book features it. What do you think about adding adding word search pages to this book project?
Well, for me, it would fit in fine because you've got a book with different kinds of activities, right? You know, travel kind of things. So yeah, it would fit in. You could do maybe word search about different pastries or whatever. And it's travel, almost travel related. So, you know, maybe someone might be sitting down having a croissant and, you know, a cup of tea somewhere. And then they have a little, you know, crossword, or maybe they're on the airplane. Yeah, you can never go wrong with crossword puzzles. Everyone likes, not crossword, word searches. Everybody likes word searches, right? You can't go wrong with word searches. And the beauty of the beauty of word searches, you can just put any old word in there depending on the situation. I could see, you know, a different kind of pastry. Do you know your pastries?
Yep.
Right? Putting
Yep.
down the different kinds of pastries. And yeah, I can see that.
Okay, cool, cool. I'm almost positive that's what I'm going to do now. That popped in my head, and I said, I'm thinking I'm going to add like probably about, we got 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. I'm probably going to add about maybe 3 more coloring pages in there. And then I may take the sticker pages out and do that as a separate value add, and then add some word search pages in there. Because I could think of all kinds of two cool things. Question for those of you who are in Tangela's group, there's someone in there that's promoting a tool that can make the word search pages. Has anyone here used that tool and know about it?
Me. Yeah, I'm not in her group, but I saw it on Facebook and I ordered it. I like it. And you know, you remember, yeah, you know that book that I'm continuing, the one with how Nona got her name?
Right.
I've come up with 4 different word searches. And the beauty of it, you can make it as big or as small. Mine is more for kids, so I made it a few more words. So all I got to do now is take that, put it in Canva, and put some little designs. It works really well.
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it then. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna add word search pages. Any other page ideas you could, any of you could think about that I could put in here based on what you've seen so far? Let me see if I can.
Maybe you could put in phrases, French phrases.
French
Learn how to
phrases. Okay.
yeah, Like I'll have a coffee, please, or a coffee and a croissant, please, or something,
Oh, that's a good idea.
right? Phrases that a person can use in France.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that
Yeah,
could be
when
fun.
I understand the French, some depends on who you run across. They like it if you try to speak to them in French.
Yeah, I've heard the French are the least accommodating though if the pronunciation is off.
Okay.
Latinos and Italians, they're a little more like they'll listen, they won't, you know, poo-poo you.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you.
But it couldn't hurt. You could even do a QR code and have the audio of it,
Mm.
an
Mm.
audio recording of somebody saying it properly, just for fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how that could be executed because in my brain I'm like, record Google doing the pronunciation.
Right, 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 right. Well,
you know?
now with Google Translate, it can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I know. And
Yeah.
even I wonder if ChatGPT would do it for you. You could record,
Oh,
get
that's
a
not a
recording
bad
of
idea. That's not a bad
ChatGPT
idea.
doing it. Or even you could, I don't know, find a French speaking person that you could contract with
I can
to
collaborate. Yeah, French speaking.
collaborate with you,
Yeah.
to do that. That could be one. Because if a person were, because it could be an immersive, it's definitely an immersive Parisian experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether the person is actually in Paris or not, or going on this adventure, there's
Mm-hmm.
still ways that they can engage in the activities
Mm-hmm.
being right here in the US because there's a place called Sur la Table is a restaurant and
Yep.
store.
Yep. I'm
You've
familiar
heard
with them.
of it, right? They have classes all the time on different things. So like, why couldn't they take a croissant class, because I
Yeah.
know they offer them. My daughter was talking about taking one with Sur la Table.
Yeah, I forgot about them. Thank you. I forgot about the
Yeah.
pastry classes. They sure do. They sure
So
do.
yeah, so there, so it could be its own experience. It doesn't mean that the person has to leave to go to Paris to enjoy this, or that
Right.
it's their pre-trip experience or their
Right.
their escape for a little while, their
Yep.
Parisian escape.
Yep. That's a great idea.
As adults, we don't involve ourselves often enough in the imaginary world, but it can be very
Mm-hmm.
delightful, to do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, the escapism. We escape all the time on different things, so why not in a book?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought about that. There's a street here in San Francisco where I live that has a very like Soho, New York, Soho kind of vibe to it. And
Mhm.
there's a French restaurant that my friend likes to go to, and we've gone there a few times. And um so yeah, I could be here in San Francisco with the book and just kind of be. I may do that actually when I get the book. When I get the draft, I'm gonna go down there and have coffee. I'm gonna intentionally have the book like sitting up on the table so people can see
Yeah,
when they walk.
right. And even right now, this one talks about pastry. It could even be a French culinary adventure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Take it beyond pastries, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it could be certainly escape. There was something else I was thinking of. Um, I didn't want to interrupt you, and I forgot.
Don't worry about it. So, I'm gonna be doing
um,
this again for sure.
yeah, but certainly write your own Parisian adventure. There you go. Like
That's
a
a good
place
idea.
for people to write their own story, right? You've talked about having blank pages in there, and you
So
know,
I have the page I just called, I labeled it Muses.
yeah.
I could add more pages. I'm trying to keep it around 100 pages total. Right now it's around 80.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely write your own, write your own story, or maybe I can just add more Muse pages to it or something like that.
Yeah, like write your own Parisian adventure
Yeah, and write your own Parisian adventure.
for people who like to write longhand.
Uh-huh. Cool, cool. Right. I like this. These are great ideas and feedback. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I will definitely be doing this again and keeping you posted to just, you know, when I start the ads and what they're doing. I'll be sharing that with you all, the list and how it's growing, the collaboration. I'm like the just kind of the whole sort of journey into doing this. I'm going to be sharing that with all of you, just to kind of, you know, inspire you for your own projects that you want to do. Um, Sketching and journaling prompts, just a few pages. Yeah, I've got some pages in there. Yeah, and I thought about, like I said, I did have some blank pages in there for sketching. I probably am gonna, I'm gonna have to mark them some kind of way so people know that's what they're there for. But you know, I want to put that in there. There's a couple of people that I follow on Facebook that actually teach sketching classes. So that could be another collaboration person I could maybe work out with. Again, what's fun about this for me is because, again, so many of us sort of like stop at once the book is live on whatever platform, website, you know, Lulu, Amazon, whatever, and sort of our quote unquote marketing, if you will, we're kind of like, okay, well, the book is done, I'm sort of done. And what I'm suggesting is have fun with it, but from the perspective of think about how these ideas could come to you as you're developing it, not once the book is finished. That's the thing I just keep kind of hammer home because like I want to be excited about the possibilities for this not after it's published, but as I'm working on it. So like the ideas that you all have given me and share with me like inspire me more, like to want to reach out to people because one, I'll feel like I'll have something quality to show them to begin with. And I don't know where it's going to go. I mean, I really don't know where it's going to go, but I just know that it was like, well, I keep calling it a passion project. Um, and hopefully, like I said, you all will learn, you know, some things from my experience with it that can inspire you moving forward. Um, Really quick, and I'll go into this in future calls that I do. I went into, I had it write the back, you know, blurb for the book, the introduction I had it do. These are all the restaurants and things I had it find for me. Let's see, this is where I got into, where to go? It's down here. You can see I did a lot. With this. But like I said, I asked it to write ad copy for me for the Facebook post. I asked it to write the ad copy for me. I'll have it do additional iterations just to kind of get my mind going. Um, I asked it to write the welcome email and nurture sequence. So I had it asked it to write 5 emails for me. And I can always, you know, go in and, you know, proof them and zhuzh them up as I need to. I also asked it to write the listing for the book on Amazon. So if I publish the book on Amazon, I asked it to write that out for me. I can use this on my webpage. I can use this information anywhere that I want. And then it even put in some reviews, which I thought was kind of funny. Um, oh, this was the fun one I wanted to talk to you all about. I asked it to give me some ideas for bonuses. And it gave me these ideas: printable Parisian recipe cards. This is where Vivante could come into play. Maybe I do a card deck to go along with this. Exclusive video tutorials on how to demonstrate the pastries. Now, I'm not doing that, but if I find someone that's teaching a class on this, that's trying to get people to sign up for their class, maybe they might give me some videos I can offer as a value add to my book, which then that person can then enroll in their class. Um, a digital iteration of the guide with like almost like an app, I guess, of some sort. Paris themed print, you know, pages that's already in there. An interactive baking planner that could be an additional product I could make down the line. It's funny, I already made the Spotify playlist and it did it. It told me that was an idea. I'd already made one. Um, Discount code for future purchases. access to a private Facebook group. Believe it or not, Facebook groups are a value add. I could make a group, and I probably will make a group just for this book project. A live virtual baking class. Again, I don't want to do a class, although I love to cook, but I'm not doing all that. But if I find someone that's already got a course that they already are selling on making croissants, making bread, making pastries, I can collab with them and they can teach the class, and then they get my book as a part of if they enroll for the class. And then
Arthur, did you mention a recipe book?
I didn't mention a recipe book because I don't know any recipes, but I
No,
would.
no. I mean, like a recipe journal. Because I'll give you an example. I love ratatouille. For
Mhm.
whatever reason, I just adore ratatouille. And when I was at Disneyland, I guess it was last year. It doesn't matter when, but in the store that has all the ratatouille stuff, they had a journal that had the anyone can cook motto on the outside
Yep.
and just
Yep.
images from the gusto and all that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the inside is blank, and it could be used as a blank recipe book, right? Like I could record recipes in there. It could be a journal, you know just a blank journal too.
Yeah, and I do have some of those in the main manuscript. I do have some recipe pages, blank pages in there where they can write their own recipes down. I've got
Mhm.
5 of them in there, but I could add more. Or again, like you said, make it a separate book with more. I'm trying to give them like a sampler because I don't want it to be a 200
Yeah,
page book.
yeah.
But yeah, I could totally do a companion book with
You
that.
know what? On this one, you might consider making the lines a little closer together,
Okay.
for writing, so that because a recipe is going to take a lot, you know, you know,
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah,
take a
that's a
lot
good
more
point.
space.
That's a good point. Let me put this in here in my notes. Yeah, let's see. Thank you for telling me that. Consider making lines closer together.
Yeah, or even columns,
Hmm.
but ingredients, and then, but an 8 by 8, and maybe it would be a 2-page spread where the
Hmm.
recipe takes 2 pages,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. I like that a lot. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay. And I think the last thing that then I asked it to give me, could you give me a list of potential collaboration partners? And it gave me a list of the different restaurants I mentioned in the book, or pastry shops, culinary schools, baking workshops, travel lifestyle influencers, French cultural organizations, gourmet food brands, travel companies and tour operators, art and stationery brands, online learning platforms like Skillshare, Udemy, Masterclass, um, anyone who does a subscription box that they may want to do a theme around food items. I maybe could work out a deal with them to get the book in there. Um, art and cooking magazines, language learning programs or platforms like Babbel, um, Parisian theme subscription box, uh, people who already have a box, not me making a box, themed boutiques, cooking blogs, websites, bookstores, and specialty shops. So again, this is again what I love about this is that it already, this builds on the information already has. So while the initial idea behind it was just to get the idea for a book or ideas for potential book ideas, it builds, the information builds upon itself. So I just kept asking it, okay, give me this, tell me what I can say about that. And like I said, then of course it's up to me then to go out and, pull it all together and, make sure it's all accurate and then assemble it. So anyway, that's all I got. Thank you all for hanging out and giving me some feedback, and I appreciate it really so much. Any other ideas or thoughts about anything, or maybe anything that inspired you to might want to do with using the resource for your own potential future projects, not just a book, but any.
I have something that inspired me that I never thought of. I was just saying today that I would one of these days love to rent a car and drive all over North America and visit our various Black History museums.
Ooh.
And I know they have the old green book, but can you imagine just having a book with some nice images and making lists of all the different Black History museums all over North America? Places to go and see, some visuals that go with it. And yeah, that's what popped into my mind.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a really great idea. Definitely a great idea. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot that.
Uh,
Anyone else? Anyone else?
I was just gonna say that the original coloring book idea that brought you and I together, Rodney, could definitely have some elements, it could be expanded beyond just coloring book to
Mm-hmm.
include a lot of a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these ideas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of the things that I really liked about what came out because of the GPT. And like I said, it inspired the book. Because I think coloring books, that's how I got started. I think those are great. But I don't know. I just feel like I call it a hybrid. So it can be a combination of like I said, in this case, it's journal pages, it's coloring pages, it's word search pages, it's links to resources. So it has I think a higher perceived value. Um, if I can click on the QR code and go learn about a school that I might want to take a class in, or I can learn about a pastry shop that I want to go check out, or I can go learn about a recipe, or I can go learn about, or I just want to sit down and just at my local neighborhood, like what you said a moment ago, Estella, and just have like a latte and a croissant or whatever, just kind of playing it with the whole French thing. And I can go listen to the playlist and I can journal about what I'm doing or whatever. I mean, it's just, it feels more. And again, I want to be very careful about how I'm saying this because I'm not trying to diminish just a straight coloring book. Like what I loved about Christine's book in particular is that you had the word search pages and you had the links to the videos about the different women that you profiled via a coloring page. So there was her bio, there was a picture of her, there was, all these different things. And what it did was it became, the book became, again, not just about coloring, but about learning about the person from an art using an art perspective, I guess, if you will. And that's what I love about what you did with yours. So I just share with you to say, as you're creating an experience, exactly. What I'm sharing all you to say is I want this book to demonstrate this, because think about the doors that this could open. And again, this was not planned. I wasn't, I'm just testing out my, my new toy that that I got, that I made, and really didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, oh, I can get behind this. I could play around with this for a minute. So anyway, I'm sorry, I've got something in my eye. It's driving me crazy. So anyway, I hope that that's what you got out of this all today. And again, I appreciate your time, for hanging out with me. Um, but like I said, because literally this came to me yesterday. I said, I think I'm gonna do a live and just kind of go over all my ideas. The number one thing out of even what I'm doing with you right now, what we're doing together right now, is that I feel that this is a part of what you all should be doing in the marketing and promotion of your own products. Don't wait until it's finished and ready to sell. Start building up your interest audience as you're creating it. So by sharing the graphics, by showing what I'm thinking, the layouts, the iteration, all that kind of stuff, it builds up interest in the audience. It builds up an audience for you to talk to and lets you know where you can improve and make it better. So I, for all of you in particular, because all you work with me already, take a page from this and come up with something that you can do to just show, hey, this is what I'm working on. And I'm going to be like, I could segue this totally I mean, all of you already working with me, but if I had a bunch of brand new people who didn't really know me yet, I could totally segue this into then working with me in a workshop or a class or, coaching or anything like that. I could totally segue into that. And actually, as I keep building this out more, that's what I'm planning to do actually. So, again, we all think that it's got to be, all buttoned up and all polished and finished and with a nice bow on it before we can tell anybody about it. And I'm saying, don't do it that way. Get buy-in as you're building. Okay. Okay. So if anyone have any last thoughts, comments, suggestions, ideas, anything that you could do similar to this with your own projects? If not, I'll let you go.
Just want to say thank you for spending your time with us and fantastic ideas. You always have so many ideas. And then my little brain starts rolling and spinning and spinning. So thank you for giving my creativity a boost. Thanks, Rodney.
You're welcome. Oh, just really quick before you go, I'm starting the interview series for the cohort that went through the planner workshop. So Jeanette, I know I haven't seen you in a minute, but I'm scheduling those now. So I'm doing interviews. I have 2 interviews scheduled for tomorrow. I have one with Deshanda at noon Pacific Standard Time and one with Lakeisha at 3. So I'm doing interviews for the YouTube and for the podcast. I'm not going to be streaming it in the Facebook group because I don't want to deal with the stress of trying to get it in 2 platforms. So I'm going to put the videos up on YouTube and I'm going to do an audio iteration of the podcast. So I'll be doing those over the next few weeks. So as for everyone who's gone through the planner cohort. So if you'd like to participate, Jeanette, get in touch with me and I'll get you the information I need from you to schedule that. So I know I've got, I think, 2 interviews scheduled next week. So I'm just going to spread out over the month. I wanted to do it like over the course of several days in 1 week, but everyone's everyone's all over the place right now. So I'm not going to worry about that. So, but I do want to interview you. Okay. All righty. I will post in the group. I'm almost scared to post anything because if the tech goes sideways, but I'll post in the group right before I do the interviews. I'm going to stream them live on YouTube. I'm not going to worry about Facebook. And but I'll pop the link in there. I'll do a post inside the Facebook group. So if you do want to watch live, you can go check us out on YouTube. And then I'll have the download video, and I'm actually going to embed the videos on a special page I'm making too. So if you can't make it, no worries. The replays are going to be on a special page I'm putting together. All righty. All righty.
Sounds good.
All righty. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
Good night.
Take care. Bye.